What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Warren Watches Wrestling back at you with another video. And today we'll be reviewing night one of SummerSlam. Now, for starters, yes, I did not do a review of SmackDown. Was out last night. Friend's birthday came home, so we didn't upload for Friday Night SmackDown review. But today we will be going over SummerSlam, what we thought was good, whether we think the match was good, great, bad, terrible, the good moments and bad moments. We'll be breaking down the matches, talking about everything that we liked and disliked. Let me know if you guys agree with what I say, with my comments. If you absolutely disagree with them, let me know that as well. We are up to 2 subscribers, so hopefully we can get it to, maybe 5 by after night 2. That's the goal. I know that might be asking for a lot, but that's all we're asking for around here. So anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it. For starters, I do want to start with the stage design of SummerSlam. I think the stage design actually looked really, really good. It took me a while. I think it was like the second or third match. I realized that the stage setup was in that of a championship belt. I think that's what they're going for. I thought the stage design and like the colorway that they had would look really, really good. The purple, the kind of orange, pink, and gold, it all kind of went well together. Especially the first match when Io and Liv had complementing colors to the stage and everything. It was very easy on the eyes. So I think it was just something that I noticed and I liked it. So I figured I'd just break it down really quick in the beginning of this video. But yeah, shout out to the stage design. I really thought it looked good. And then for starters, we're going to start with the fans. I think the Minnesota fans, you guys can stand up, give yourself a round of applause. You guys were amazing. I thought the fans were pretty damn good throughout the whole entire show. The only low point was really that fatal influence and the Bellas match with Paige. I kind of said in my prediction that that would be the low point of night one. It definitely was the only match that the crowd wasn't really into. Like the 6-man tag, they were very much into. Liv and Io, they were into. Nick Aldis, they were definitely behind Nick Aldis. They were hot for that match. Punk and Cody, they were very much into, and obviously over Brock, they were going crazy for as well. So I thought the crowd was absolutely fantastic for this show. They definitely made it feel like a main event. A big match feel type of matches going on with this crowd. So yeah, shout out to the Minnesota crowd. You guys absolutely killed it night one. We need the same energy heading into night two. And I do want to touch on this really, really quick. I seen this graphic on Twitter kind of floating around about the match times. Yes, the matches weren't that long. I still had fun. Like, spoiler alert, I think this was a fun night of wrestling all in all together. But here are the match times. As you see, Cody and Punk went 30 minutes, which is kind of to be expected, especially that they didn't main event, which is crazy. But they had 30 minutes because they definitely had a chip on their shoulder. We seen Liv and Io. They went 13 minutes, but I feel like they fit a lot in. The Usos and Fatu versus Keys, Knight, and Solo. I kind of thought that match was going to be a very fast-paced match and not really go that long, especially because it was on the first hour of ESPN. That match was only 11 minutes. I'm kind of disappointed that the main event was only 12 minutes, but that was, it was right around what I expected it to be, 10 to 15. They gave them 12 minutes, which I kind of wish they gave them a little bit more. And then, Gunther and Aldis went 12 minutes, and Fatal Influence, Nikki, Brie, and Paige where it was only 8 minutes. So all in all together, quick math right here. What is this? We have 20, 32, 44, 57, hour and 27. So it was only an hour and 27 minutes of actual wrestling going on, but I'm not going to harp on it too much. I still had fun with it. I think a lot of the matches could have went a little bit longer, but, I think some of them were perfectly fine where they were at. But let's get into the first match of the night, which was Liv Morgan defeating Io Sky. Now, in my prediction, I did have Io Sky winning here. It was a fun match. Io and Liv, they have good chemistry. They put on good matches before. Definitely some fun spots there. Io Sky doing the sunset flip, power bomb on Liv Morgan outside. Then she did the German suplex on the count, like the side of the ring, which is the hardest part of the ring if you didn't know. But jumping out, getting behind her, doing that. We actually seen Io Sky hit an Oblivion in this match, which was which was random, but a good change of pace. That was kind of fun. Like I said, all in all, it was a fun match. It was a good match. I was kind of surprised by the ending there. Obviously we knew the Judgment Day was going to come out and get involved, which they did. We seen Io Sky knock them off, hit a moonsault to take them out, and then it was just a one-on-one match from that point moving forward. And we seen, Liv Morgan hit Oblivion at the end. 1, 2, 3, pick up the win. Really nothing crazy. No returns here. No Stephanie Valkyrie. No other interference going on. So quick, easy title defense match with Liv Morgan winning. Moving forward, I don't really know where Io Sky goes from here, unless it's over to SmackDown, but they don't really need more women's wrestlers. Honestly, they barely use what they have as it is. Maybe she'll go after the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe that might be the next move for her, is to try to take out Raquel, but then once again, she'll be feuding with the Judgment Day. So I'm not sure where Io Sky goes from here, but she definitely needs to continue to be on, Monday Night Raw and be wrestling, because she's probably the best women's wrestler in all of wrestling altogether. But Liv Morgan winning this match, I guess that kind of puts the Danhausen curse to rest, because I think she's still technically cursed unless we try to find some way around that. So we'll see if we can find a way around that now. And now I don't know if that means the curse is off for night 2 with Dom and Danhausen, because obviously they still have a match coming up. But yeah, I guess the Danhausen curse is not affecting Liv Morgan anymore. But I think that's fine. Liv Morgan moving forward, I think we all know what the plan is here. Stephanie Valkyr, I know that's part of the reason she wasn't on or defending her title as much, is because they have all these plans for her taking on Stephanie Valkyr, and I am assuming that will be her next feud moving forward. But please, for the love of God, do not go another 100 days without defending this title. Liv Morgan can go in the ring. She needs to have feuds. She needs to have the ability to cut promos and stay relevant on her own, not as a sidekick to Dom Mysterio and Danhausen. Like, she needs to be by herself in the ring with Raquel. Now, I guess Roxanne, can go after the title as well, or whatever it might be, but she needs to be able to have more matches than one match every 100 days. Absolutely absurd. But I think it was a fun match, good start. The crowd was into it, so I think it was an overall great start to the show. Next, we had Solo, LA, and Royce pick up the win against the Bloodline and Fatu. Very surprising here, quick 11-minute match. I think this match was a lot of fun. Honestly, it was just these guys going out there, getting all their spots and everyone hitting all their moves. We seen Royce Keys do this top rope. He kind of struggled to get Jimmy up, but had Jimmy up and hit the spinning slam off the middle rope. That was a pretty cool spot. It kind of showed how strong he was. And he also hit the slam outside the ring when we seen them stumble out. It looked like that good old-fashioned barricade spot where Fatu was going to hit the hip attack on him. We picked him up and slammed him over the barricade, which was honestly a pretty cool spot there. A couple close calls there with LA Knight. He was in the ring. He got speared by Uso, which he kicked out of. But then he also got another spear and took a splash from Jimmy. And I was like, please don't just be pinning LA. But no pin there, kicked out of it. And then we see the Usos send up for the 1D at the end. As they try to set up for the 1D, Solo comes up, hits Jimmy with a spike. Jay turns around, hits with a BFT, and we have LA Knight pinning Jay Uso for the win, which is a nice surprise, honestly. So LA Knight gets the pin over the Uso, so I don't know what that means moving forward. Maybe LA Knight will be the next opponent against Roman Reigns because he just beat his family. And then after the match, you see, obviously, this picture of how jolly Solo Sikoa is. We see him kind of stand in the corner, very over the top, very happy. LA Knight's very hesitant to shake his hand and be a part of it. And I was fully, in my reaction I posted on Instagram, I was fully expecting Solo to come down, go in for the hug, and hit him with a spike. But no, we didn't get no heel turn. Solo stayed face, which I was very, very happy about because I think he's so over. During the match, I don't have a picture, but during the match, I want you to go back if you haven't watched it yet, where Solo is doing the back and forth. He hits one of these. Jey Uso punches on Jey Uso. He looks at him, says, run it back, and starts yeeting with the crowd. And the crowd absolutely was going crazy for Solo. We heard Solo chants throughout the match. This man is having so much fun right now. He's so charismatic. It was honestly one of the best parts of the show, seeing Solo run it back and start yeeting. And I'm so happy he didn't turn heel, that he's not joined the Bloodline. Not sure what the next move is for Solo. Honestly, that if he's not in the Bloodline, I guess he will stay on SmackDown. Maybe Royce Keys can go after the U.S. title whenever they actually want to put him in a feud with Trick Williams, who will probably still be a champion, I'm assuming, after night 2. But I'm assuming LA Knight's going to go after the world title. Royce Keys, I can see starting to move up, maybe wants to go after the U.S. title. Solo, I'll be interested to see what Solo does, because you can't just keep him in the Bloodline if he just beat the Bloodline and he's not joining them. I'm sure they're probably going to still use that as his storyline moving forward, but overall, was happy to see them actually pick up the win. That LA Knight did get the pin win over Uso, and that Solo stayed babyface, most importantly. So, fun to start to the show. Up next, we did have Gunther taking on Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis came out, I don't know the name of the song, but came out to a theme that people do know the name of. I've seen on Twitter, people are posting about it. Great entrance, great ovation. This crowd, like I said, was very, very behind Aldis. It was crazy how over he was. This crowd was going crazy for him. Chan, you still got it. He had some good moves in the match. Caught Gunther as he was diving and picked him up into a suplex, hit a top row suplex as well. He looked good. He looked like a legitimate wrestler in this match. You could tell he definitely wrestled before. This wasn't his first rodeo, and that was very evident in the match. He clearly knew what he was doing. Other than that, it was a very generic Gunther match. Slow pace, a lot of chops, a lot of slams. Nothing over the top, extraordinary. There wasn't really a moment where you thought Gunther was going to lose, honestly. There was no close call where I thought Nick Aldis was going to win the match. And as you see the end of the match, Gunther gets him in the sleeper hold. Nick Aldis does tap out. in the match. And then that was really it for the match. I think moving forward, Gunther probably will be seen on SmackDown start feuding with either Sammy or Finn. I'm assuming he's going to feud with whoever loses, because then that could be like the number one contender. So, because whoever wins will be going after the title, which is CM Punk. So I'm assuming he's going to go after whoever loses that match, would make the most sense to me. But for Nick Aldis, we've seen after the match a very, very nice moment. It's, you feel for the guy. Like I said, if you haven't seen his interview with Van Vliet, he really, like, started to break down, talking about how much this moment means to him. He's like, I just don't want to let people down. I can let you know right now, Mr. Aldis, you did not let nobody down. I think the match was very fun. Was a good match to have on the show. Was definitely worth the SummerSlam event. After the match, you see his son and Mickey James, his wife, came in the ring. He kind of was in there with them, soaking it all in as a crowd was chanting him on. So it was a very, very nice moment, a moment that you just kind of smile while you watch. And then we'll talk about this now. This was kind of after the show on Twitter. I'm not sure if it was during the show, but I just went on there. I've seen this on there. Nick Aldis walks up to Triple H, gives him, he goes, all right, here's my resignation letter, because they told him he could no longer be the general manager if he wanted to take this fight. So he said, here's my letter, like, thank you for letting me fight. Thank you for, like, my services. And Triple H was pretty much told him, he's like, we appreciate what you did, like, as a man. He's like, you're a man, so you settle things in the ring. He's like, ripped up the resignation letter. He goes, you will still be the SmackDown general manager moving forward. So no, we're not going to get Nick Aldis the wrestler. I think this might have been the one and done. So I guess Gunther can continue that career killer that he has going on. But so Nick Aldis will continue to be the general manager moving forward. Hey, Kathy. Up next, we did have, like I said, which was like the low point of the show. We had Fatal Influence taking on Paige and the Bellas. A quick, I think it was 8-minute match. It's your run-of-the-mill Fatal Influence Bellas match. We've seen it before. Kind of similar, like the rest of the matches. They're all the same. Not really much to talk about in this match here. We did get Fallon Henley trying to break the internet doing Nikki Bella's dance, which I'm sure that was blowing up all over Twitter. And we did have Fatal Influence pick up the win. That was what was most important here, was the right winner. You were never going to get a 5-star classic between these 6 girls. But Fatal Influence did get the win, and we did see JC Jane get the pin over Paige, which, like I said, the ending kind of just happened really, really fast. It was just a quick tag to Paige, tagged JC, and then just a rolling encore. Like, she tried to do a roll up, kicked out of it, right into a rolling encore. 1, 2, 3. That was really all it was. So it was very quick. Ending right there. We gave Fatal Influence the win. And then I think the only talking part here is after Fatal Influence leaves, we see the Bellas turn on Paige. And it was they didn't do a good job building up to it. It was very, very predictable, because after Fatal Influence won, they're leaving the ring, and then we just see these 3 just stand there, kind of like, oh, just standing there, like, one, and Nikki's literally like staring there, like, okay, clearly they're about to turn on her. So they turn on her, very not that aggressive of a beatdown, but I guess the Bellas are turning heel, and Paige will be your babyface moving forward. Even though the attack was really just Nikki turning on Paige, like, Brie kind of just stood there awkwardly. So it was kind of weird, but I thought the Bellas, like, I assumed this was going to happen, but I know the Bella army is very, very strong. So they do have a high babyface following. But it is good. Now we can finally let Paige go on her own, do her singles run, because she still has a lot of years left. Let her be herself, put the Bellas back together, whether they are heels. I don't know if this is going to set up a Nikki and Paige feud, because if that's the case, then I don't know what Brie's going to do, or if this just means that the Bella Twins are going to be like, hey, we never got pinned by Fatal Influence, so we should be the ones facing Fatal Influence. But if that's the case, then we'll have the Bella Twins going after the tag titles still, and then Paige can go off and do her own thing, hopefully. But I'm sure we're going to get a Nikki Bella versus Paige match in the near future. Then it was time for CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, and we've seen CM Punk get the win over Cody Rhodes with a little bit of help. This match, you could tell they wanted to put on a good wrestling match or they have good chemistry. They can go in the ring. I was surprised to see when they're like, this match is up next. I was like, oh, shit, like, we're not doing this in the main event. They kept talking about how they main event. This is the main event. We have our main event. And it didn't main event. So that was kind of a little confusing there. But they kept announcing it as a main event, so the fact that it wasn't, I guess people were like, yeah, people are a lot more hyped for this Hell in a Cell, for this Brock in his hometown, and for Oba going at it to raise the next star. So this match coming on before that was surprising. Cody Rhodes does not fight during the day that often, ever. So seeing that was definitely a change of pace. The match, like I said, itself was really good. We did see CM Punk try to hit a moonsault. Let's not do that again. It was not It's not pretty. He looked like he almost broke his neck. But he tries to do a moonsault, a lot of back and forth going on. A couple, a crossroad that was kicked out of, a GTS that was kicked out of. Outside the ring, we see Punk put Cody on a table, kind of look about the turnbuckle. I was like, oh, is he actually going to do this? So he goes up to the top of the turnbuckle, jumps from the top rope to the outside table, almost completely overshot it. The storyline of the match, he was selling his knee. He had a bad knee or whatever it might have been. Cody had a bad arm. So Cody was attacking his knee a lot. So when Punk goes and jumps to the outside, I looked like he legitimately hurt his knee here. He jumped far. He misses Cody. Cody goes up. He slams through the table with what looked like an actual pretty rough fall for him. So he hits the table hard. He goes down. And then we see Cody taken back in the ring. And then Cody tries to go for a top rope cutter and runs into Charles Robinson. We should start knowing whenever Charles is in the match, he's just going to get knocked out. So Charles gets hit. He gets knocked out. We see Punk hit the one GTS, falls off, falls on his shoulders. We know we kind of overdo that spot at this point. It's very, very overdone. He doesn't always have to do it. But Cody falls on his shoulders. He goes pick up to another one, reverse into a Cody cutter. No referees. Punk rolls out. And as Cody's getting up, we see no other than the Viper himself return to the ring, comes running into a huge ovation, hits Cody with an RKO. Punk comes back in, hits the GTS, and that was the match. That was it. It was very fast ending. We got the return of Randy Orton, setting up that feud. Obviously, this isn't a clean win for Punk because I guess we have to protect Cody. So we're setting up we're setting up the Cody and Randy feud, I guess, not for the title, even though the big thing between them two was they started beefing and having this argument because Randy won at number 15. And so I guess we're just letting them feud without the title, which will be a good change of pace. I know a lot of people are annoyed with Cody only going after the title, so now he'll have a feud that's not for the title, which will be a main event worthy feud if it can be booked correctly without outside interference or celebrity involvement, which it does not need. So we will be setting up for Randy and Cody in the future. Is definitely going to be the move there. When it comes to Punk, he's going to be going after, obviously, either Sami Zayn or Finn Balor, whoever wins tomorrow night. Overall, solid match. I would give it a thumbs up, and I think it was, it did the job. They definitely were competing with chip on the shoulder. They were trying to do new moves. So it was fun. Overall, good. Obviously, great to see Randy Orton back in the mix, because who doesn't love Randy Orton this day and age? And then it was time, finally, for the main event. We had Oba defeating Brock Lesnar. And this match was fun. The entrance, obviously, Oba so over. Brock being in his hometown had a huge pop. Got the announcement for the introduction for the match. We had Paul Heyman introduce Brock Lesnar. Got the fans very hyped for that. I think the pre-match hype package. I'm just a fan of match hype packages. I think they need more of them, not just the main event. I feel like every match could use them. They just make the match feel so much more special, so much bigger. But this match had a great hype package going into it to get you excited. You did just kind of feel the big match feel for this match. It was like, the in air. It felt like a huge match that was about to happen. Quick match. I knew it wasn't going to be too long because they start off really, really fast paced. Oba started destroying Brock. Brock comes back in, starts suplexing Oba. And then we just see a table, like they roll to the outside, Oba throws Brock through the stairs, he sets up a table, and no reversal, he just launches Brock through the table within like the first 2-3 minutes of the match. Then we get steel steps in the ring, and Brock starts nailing Oba with the steel steps. Like I said, this is all within the first 5 minutes. He starts hitting with steel steps. We get chairs in the ring. He starts suplexing them, puts them through the chairs on a suplex. And then we see Oba hit the fall from grace really early on, and Brock kicked, which... This did make me a little nervous. He is the first one to kick out of the fall from grace since Oba's been on the main roster. If you haven't realized, that move has been very protected. No one has kicked out of it yet. So Brock did kick out of it, which was kind of scary. Then obviously as it goes on, Brock hits Oba with 3 straight F5s in a row, which made me a little nervous, but we see Oba kick out, and then Brock starts to tear apart the ring. He starts peeling off the ring, so the wooden ring is right there. He picks up Oba and looks like he's about to go for another F5, but Brock, being the beast that he is, takes Oba, kind of flips him down, and has him in the tombstone pile driver position. And he hits Oba with a tombstone pile driver on the wooden board. Not gonna lie to you, this did scare the hell out of me, because I thought that was the end of the ruler. We see him hit Oba with a tombstone pile driver, folds his arms up, and goes for the Undertaker type pin. Oba does kick at 2.5, which I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of think that was it for Oba. I was like, oh no, we just killed Oba. We just killed all the momentum. Brock just hit a tombstone on the straight wood against Oba. And then after he kicks out, we see him start spazzing out, starts hulking up a little bit, stands up, starts going at Brock Lesnar, hits him with a couple moves, then hits him with the fall from grace. I thought he was going to do the fall from grace on the wood, which, in all honesty, with how tall Oba is and how big these two are, if he really put force into the wood, they might have went through the goddamn ring. So he didn't. He put him on the mat, hit a fall from grace, 1, 2, 3. That was it. End of the match. Like I said, I was not to say disappointed in the match. I think the match was perfectly fine. But it just didn't have the brutality or violence that they were hyping it up to be. Like, I thought there was going to be a lot more table spots. Brock was going to get a fall from grace through the table. Oba was going to get put through a table. Maybe a couple steel steps, a little bit of blood here and there. I know is what a lot of people were asking for. We were kind of hoping for like a 15 to 20 minute match. Instead, we got a 12-minute match, which was kind of disappointing. I wanted to see them go like a little bit longer, especially being the main event. You're kind of hoping that you'd get a 15 to at least 15 minutes at minimum or a 20-minute match, but I know it's asking for a lot, especially at this point of Brock's career. But yeah, it was overall a solid match. It was fine. Like I said, I was a tad bit disappointed that it didn't go longer, but all in all, well, at least we picked the right winner. Oba did win. He did stand tall. And after the match, we see Brock come back, and it was kind of like they're staring at each other. Oba looked like he was kind of emotional in all things considered, so like Oba's kind of staring at him. Brock comes back in, goes in for a handshake, says no, and then just gives him a hug. And then it asks for the microphone, gets the microphone in his hand, and kind of says, Oba, come here. Like, Oba's walking the ring. I guess he's going to let Brock give a speech. He calls Oba and he goes, that's the future. That's the future of the WWE. He goes, I'm the past. That's the future. And then, they embrace, raises his arm, points at him, kind of like, lets people know, like, this is the passing of the torch moment. Like, I was a past. This is the future of wrestling. I think this feud overall has just been a lot of fun. Obviously, it's done a lot for Oba. His picture says a lot right here. I think Brock genuinely has enjoyed just working with Oba. I don't think Brock has ever been in the ring with someone that has been like nearly as strong or as big as him and can move like him. It's a freak of nature to be able to move that way. Obviously, Brock is an actual wrestler. He's champion at Minnesota, so he's a freak wrestler as it is. But I don't think he's been in the ring with someone the same size, strength, and speed as him. So he was passing the torch over. It looked like he's really enjoyed this feud. You seen him smiling. He was willing to take bumps and go through everything with Oba. So overall, I think this feud did what it was supposed to do. Brock did not say anything about retirement. So I don't think he is retiring. I guess he probably will to Gunther. I really hope that's not the case. I'd rather see him get retired by Braun Breaker, if I'm being completely honest. So hopefully that's the next move for Brock, is to feud with Braun, but I don't think he would put over Braun the same way he put over Oba. I think Oba was just who he wanted to put over. And this does a lot for Oba. I think Oba's his next move, I don't think they're going to let him go against Roman next. So his next feud, I'm not sure who will be against, because I do think they're going to save that Roman Oba match for WrestleMania. It's just what WWE does. They're not going to pull the trigger on it now. They're going to wait and build that up and let it just kind of simmer and keep them away from each other until we get to WrestleMania. So I'm assuming Oba's next feud might be with, who's on the Monday Night Raw roster that could really feud with Oba? Because Cody's on Smack. I'm not even sure. I really don't know who Oba's about to feud next. That would be exciting to see if he comes out to cut a promo on Monday Night Raw. Who can interrupt him? We damn sure better not do an open challenge again. I'll tell you that we do not need that. But keep him booked. See what he has moving forward. I think Brock is just going to go away for a while. Might return at Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber 7 match for WrestleMania again. But yeah, Oba got the win here. Good decision, good call. Brock putting him over was a very nice moment as well. So overall, it was, and yeah, that was my overall thoughts and review of night 1 of SummerSlam. All in all together, I think it was a solid show. I know people are probably going to rip because of match times, but I think the matches were fun. It was a fun night of wrestling overall. Definitely a good start to the weekend. A lot of the matches were good. I think the right booking decision was made for most of the matches. Maybe Liv was a little questionable, but other than that, I think the right decisions were made for most of the matches. The matches were a lot of fun. I don't think there was really a bad match. I mean, Fatal Influence was a low point, but it wasn't a bad match. At least they made the right decision, right call there. Main event was a lot of fun. Championship match was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see what night 2's got in store for us. But yeah, night 1, I'll give it a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. Like I said, it was a very solid show. So Those are my opinions. Let me know what you guys think. I will be continuing to post my reactions on Instagram at Warren Watches Wrestling, on TikTok at Warren Watches Wrestling, and we will be back tomorrow night for a night 2 review on our channel. It's been your boy Warren Watches Wrestling. Y'all stay beautiful, world.